بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد، يا عباد الله، لقد امتن الله سبحانه وتعالى على عباده بما جعل لهم من اللباس والريش الذي يوارون به عورتهم. O servants of Allah, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has bestowed a great blessing, a great bounty upon His slaves in that which He has made for them from clothing and from apparel, that of which by way of it they cover their private parts. قال فضيلة الشيخ عبد السلام برجس رحمه الله تعالى: ويتجملون به في مجامعهم ومحافلهم, and they bring these clothes and they adorn themselves with it, beautifying themselves inside of their meetings and inside of their gatherings. فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, يا بني آدم, O children of Adam, قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا, verily we have sent down unto you clothes. We sent down clothes to you. يواري سوءتكم, so that you may cover your private parts. You may cover yourselves by way of these clothes. وَالرِّيشًا, and as adornments for you. وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ, and the clothing of taqwa, the clothing of taqwa, then that is better. That is better for you. ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ, that is better. ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَذَّكَّرُونَ, and this is from the signs of Allah, so that perhaps they may remember. So that perhaps they may remember. قال Imam Sa'di رحمه الله تعالى: وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ, commenting on Allah Ta'ala's statement, what means, and the clothing of piety, the clothing of taqwa, then this is better. The Imam, he says, مِنَ اللِّبَاسِ الْحِسِّي, this is better from the physical clothes. This is better from that tangible clothes. He says, فَإِنَّ لِبَاسَ التَّقْوَى, because the clothing of taqwa, or the adornment of taqwa, يَسْتَمِرُ, it continues, it goes on, it does not stop, nor does it cease. يَسْتَمِرُ مَعَ الْعَبْدِ, it continues with the slave. The cloth of taqwa, then it is something that is consistent with the abd, it's consistent with the servant. لا يبلى ولا تبيد, it doesn't wear out, nor does it become ruined or go away. It doesn't perish. وهو, and what is this libasul taqwa? What is it? هو جمال القلب والروح, and this is the beautification of the heart and of the spirit. This is the libasul taqwa. So it is incumbent, ya ibad, that we reflect upon the likes of this, so that we may benefit bi'ithnillahi ta'ala. As Shaykh Abdis Burjas rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, فَلِبَاسْ نِعْمَةٌ عَظِيمًا, he says, so that the clothing, then this is a tremendous bounty of which maybe we don't reflect upon it enough. Maybe it is possible that we don't reflect upon it at all. But the clothing, then this is a bounty from Allah Azza wa Jal. تفضل الله سبحانه وتعالى بها على الإنسان. This is a bounty in which Allah Ta'ala, He has placed upon mankind. a bounty that He has given unto mankind. فيها من المنافع والفوائد شيء كثير. It has many benefits, many benefits. فهو ستر, it is a covering. يستر به الإنسان سوءته, that an individual, he covers his private parts by way of it. وهو جمال له وبهاء, and it is an adornment for him and something of elegance that he can adorn himself with and clad himself with. وهو أيضا وقاء له من الحر والبرد, and likewise it is a protection for him from the heat, ومن البرد, and from the coldness and from the cold. كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى, as Allah Ta'ala, He says, وَجَعْلَ لَكُمْ سَرَابِيلًا, and we have made for you sarabil, we made for you garments, قُمُصًا, we made for you garments. جَعْلَ لَكُمْ سَرَابِيل تَقِيكُمْ الْحَرِّ وَسَرَابِيل تَقِيكُمْ بَأْسَكُمْ. Allah Ta'ala says, we made for you garments of which protect you from the heat, and we made from you garments that protect you from each other's violence. We made from you garments that protect you from each other's violence. For example, like the coat of armor that an individual, he will use to protect himself from the strikes and the blows of the weapons of the enemy, and so on and so forth. فالواجب هذه النعمة العظيمة شكرها. So what is incumbent for this tremendous bounty is that we have to be grateful unto Allah Ta'ala for this bounty. And we have to praise Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the bounty of clothes in which He has bestowed upon us. So it is incumbent upon the Muslim, that he knows something from the rules and regulations of the deen of Al-Islam as relates to clothing. That we know something from the deen of Al-Islam as relates to the rules and regulations of clothing. فشكرها إنما يكون باستعمال ما أحله الله سبحانه وتعالى منها. And being grateful unto Allah Ta'ala, it means that we will utilize those clothing, we will utilize the clothes in which Allah Ta'ala has made permissible for us. واجتناب, and that we will stay away from what? ما حرمه الله سبحانه وتعالى منها, and that we will stay away from that which Allah Ta'ala He has made prohibited from clothes. From clothes. Al-Asl, the origin, the Shaykh he mentions as relates to clothing. Al-Asl for Al-Bisa, Ya Ibadullah, Al-Ibaha. The origin when it relates to clothes is that it is something that is permissible. Al-Ibaha. Na'am. كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى منكرا على من حرم أشياء من المطاعم والملابس بغير الدليل. As Allah Ta'ala, He criticized, and Allah Ta'ala, He blamed and faulted those individuals who they made something from the clothing and from the food haram without proofs and evidences. They said that certain types of foods and certain types of clothing were haram, but they didn't have any proof, nor did they have any evidence. So Allah Ta'ala, He says, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي أَخْرَجَ لِعِبَادِهِ. He says, say unto them, who has made prohibited, who has made forbidden the adornments of Allah that He has brought out for His slaves. وَالطَّيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ, and who has made prohibited the good things from the provisions. نعم. فكل ألبسة حلال للمسلم أن يلبسها إلا ما جاء الشرع بتحريمه والنهى عنه. So all clothing is permissible except that which the legislation has come to show its impermissibility, to show that it is forbidden. Na'am. So it is incumbent that we know something from this so we know what to stay away from. The Shaykh, he says, لِيَجْتَنِبَهَا الْمُسْلِمِ اجْتِنَابًا كَامِلًا, so that a Muslim can stay away from the prohibited clothing completely. كَامِلًا, stay away from it completely. وَامْتِثَالًا, and also so as to implement لِقَوْلِهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم, to implement the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, وَإِذَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْ شَيْءٍ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ, and when I prohibit you from something, then stay away from it. When I prohibit you from something, then stay away from it. So in order for us to implement the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, then we have to know what are those types of clothing that are impermissible, those types of clothing that we are to stay away from. And this Bab Ya Ibad is a chapter or is a subject that is tremendous indeed. It is a subject that maybe many of us don't understand its significance and or its importance, but bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, maybe we will come to see something from this. The first type, وَمِنَ الْلِبَاسِ الْمُحَرَّمَةِ, and from the types of clothing that is haram, that is not permissible, that is forbidden. تِلْكَ الْمُلَابِسِ الْمُخْتَصَّةِ بِالْكُفَّارِ, then this will be the clothing, those clothes that are specific to the disbelievers. The clothes that are specific to the disbelievers. So any type of clothing, any type of clothes that are specific, that is specific to the disbelievers, then it is haram for the Muslims. Naam, it is haram for the Muslims. The Shaykh, he says, التي لا يلبسها سواهم, that clothing that only they wear, the clothing that only the kuffar wear. فهو علم عليهم, then therefore it is a sign for them. وشعار لهم, and it is a characteristic that is intrinsic to them. Naam, those clothes that only the kuffar wear, then this is a sign for them, and this is characteristics that are intrinsic to them. For an example, as we know from the general rules of the, or we will say the shurut, the prerequisites, the conditions for clothing, is that it has to be something that is baggy, wide, wasi'. Naam. This is from the way of the Muslim, is that we wear clothes that are baggy, that are wide, clothes that do not describe the limb and or portion of the body that they are covering. So therefore the opposite of this will be from that which is un-Islamic and that which is not from the way of the Muslims. So for an example, from the types of clothes that are specific to the kuffar, not something that is known by the Muslims, naam, will be the like of skinny jeans. The like of skinny jeans. Because these type of jeans, they do not fulfill any of the conditions of the clothing in al-Islam. But they are tight, they are skinny, and they describe that which is under them. They are clothes that originate from the kuffar. And in particular, they originate from the homosexuals from the kuffar. That was then adopted by the metrosexuals from the kuffar. And then it became something that was widespread amongst the kuffar. Likewise, that which is from those clothing or manner of wearing one's clothes with is specific to the kuffar will be the sagging of one's pants. To sag one's pants so that they hang under his buttocks. Now, this is something that is particular to the kuffar. This is not from the way of the Muslims. Because from the way of the Muslims is that the clothing, it has to cover our awrah. It has to cover our private parts. It has to cover our body. But the kuffar, due to their despicable nature, due to their filth, they will take the clothing down from the private part and expose it so that it can be seen. This is a practice that originated from the homosexuals from the kuffar, and in particular those homosexuals who were incarcerated, because wearing their pants in such a manner was an indication that they were available to the other homosexual men. This was the indication that they were ready for any and all types of homosexual advances. This was something that originated with the homosexuals of the kuffar and then became widespread amongst the kuffar. So therefore, when one reflects upon the likes of this, he realizes that this is something that is particular to the kuffar, and no Muslim in their right mind will ever want to imitate such a despicable practice which has its origins with the homosexuals from the kuffar. Wa'iyadu billah. Ala kulli hal, it is not permissible to imitate the kuffar in any type of clothing that is particular to them, specific to them, that which they are known by. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, من تشبه بقوم فهو منهم. Whoever imitates a people, then he is from them. استمعوا, listen closely to the reality of the danger of this situation, of imitating them in that which is particular unto them. The Shaykh, he says, التشبه بالكفار في ملابسهم ينافي العزة التي يجب أن يكون عليها المؤمن. Because imitating the kuffar in the way in which that they dress, in the manner in which that they dress, this negates the power, this negates the honor that the mu'min should have for himself. Because when a mu'min rathers and he prefers to look like the kuffar, then this is him saying that he doesn't see any honor, he doesn't see any superiority in looking like a Muslim. He doesn't see any value in looking like a Muslim. This is him showing that in his mind, from his perspective, he believes that the kuffar are more honorable. He believes that the manner and the way of the kuffar has more value in it. So therefore he abandons the dress of the Muslims and he adorns himself with the dress of the kuffar, because he sees value in it, because it to him that is noble, to him that is honorable, which is to what? Which is a humiliation for him, a humiliation for the Muslims. This is the first part. وإذ أن تشبه بهم يعني شعور المتشبه أنهم أعلى منا. And wherever the individual imitates them in the way that they dress, then this is an indication that he feels that they are better than us. This is the indication that he feels that the kuffar are better than us. Now, of course, a person, he'll come in and say, no, brother, that's not what I feel, that's not what I think, and this and that. I'm going to tell you right now, brother, your words are cheap. Your words are cheap, man. Your action, that's what we're looking at. You can say whatever you want to say. Who in their right mind from a Muslim is going to say, yeah, I don't want to look like a Muslim, I want to look like a kuffar? Who is going to admit that? Who in their right mind is going to come out and say, you know what? I don't want to obey what Allah and His Messenger say about the way I dress. I want to look like them kuffar and them. Who in his right mind will even admit something like that? So by a person coming out and saying, no, brother, that's not it. We love Islam. We love the Sunnah. We love the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We love the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We love what they teach us, so on and so forth. Of course you're going to say that. Of course you're going to say that. Don't nobody expect you're going to say something different than that. So I'm telling you now, your words is cheap, man. Look at your actions. Look at your actions. كما يعني أيضا, also what this means is what? إعجاب. That this individual, he is impressed. He is amazed by the kuffar. إعجابه. He is amazed by them. بهيئتهم. He's amazed at the manner of them. He's amazed يعني with their ملابسهم. He is amazed by their clothes. استمعوا. وهذه خطوة أولى لإعجاب بأقائدهم وأفكارهم. And this is the first step, being amazed in the way that they dress, in the manner that they dress. This is the first step in being amazed with their belief and being amazed with their ideologies. This is the first step, that an individual is amazed with the manner in which that they dress, amazed by the way that they dress, which will lead to him being amazed with their ideas, amazed with their beliefs, amazed with their ideologies, so on and so forth. So there is a very strong connection, ya ibad. Even though we may not have thought about it, even though we may not have contemplated on it, even though we may not have realized it, there is a very strong connection and or significance in not imitating the kuffar. This is an issue of tremendous importance that many of the Muslims, wa'iyadu billah, they downplay to their own detriment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who love the sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in statement and in action and in belief. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who take the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as our example. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the women those who take the sahabiyat, those who take the female companions, and at the top of them our mothers, radiyallahu ta'ala anhun, as their examples. هذا أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولجميع المسلمين فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Maybe this isn't what you thought, huh? A lot of times when you have this type of conversation, people talking about the women all the time, how they supposed to cover, don't wear this, sister. No, today is your turn, brothers. Sisters will get their due mention, but today is for you, brothers. وَمِنَ الْأَلْبِسَ الْمُحَرَّمَةِ, and from those clothing that is impermissible, forbidden, لبس الرجال ما يختص بالنساء من الملابس, is for men to wear clothes that are particular to women. It's for men to wear women's clothes. ولبس النساء ما يختص بالرجال من الملابس, and for women to wear men's clothes. It's not permissible. It's not permissible for a man to wear women's clothes, nor for a woman to wear the clothing of men. This is something which is another illustration on how when we become lackadaisical in this, we become affected with the mentality and the thinking of the kuffar. Because how often is it the case where an individual or woman in particular will adorn herself with the shirts of her husband or the shirts of men and so on and so forth, and that's deemed as cute. It's deemed as cute to who? To the kuffar, not to the Muslims. Or how often is it the case where a little boy would put on the shoes of his mother and he walk around the house and it's deemed as being cute. Oh look, he love his mother. It's deemed as being cute. But then when a boy get big and he become a transgender or he become a cross-dresser, then you say to yourself, where that come from? Ya Salaam. You helped plant that seed. You ain't say nothing. Where you think it came from? Allah musta'an. Let us look at the reality of this situation. Because the Prophet ﷺ, as it comes in a hadith that's been collected by Abu Dawood on the authority of Abu Hurairah, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. What's the reality of the situation? For those men who want to imitate women, those women want to imitate men, is that the Prophet ﷺ, لعن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الرجال يلبسوا لبسة المرأة والمرأة تلبس لبسة الرجال, is that the Prophet ﷺ, he cursed the men who wear women's clothes, and he cursed the women who wear men's clothes. The Shaykh, he says, كَالْحِذَا وَالنَّحْوِ, like shoes and other than that. Like shoes and other than that. Is that there is no way that a man should be wearing the clothes of a woman or a woman wearing the clothes of the man, regardless of the type, but even the shoes. Even the shoes. The ulama, they say, even enters into this house slippers. The woman shouldn't wear the house slippers of the man, and the man shouldn't wear the house slippers of the woman. So as an example, the ship we got in the bathroom right there, that's pink. That no brother should have them on their foot. That's for women, obviously. That's for the sisters, obviously. That no man should be running around with them there on his feet. Ala kulli hal. Also, from that which is impermissible for the men, from clothing, labsul harir, is to wear silk. Is to wear silk. Na'am. It's not permissible for the men to adorn themselves with silk. As it comes in Sahihain, عن عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه أنه قال لا تلبسوا الحرير. Don't wear silk. Meaning for who? The men. Women, they can wear silk. But for the men, no. It's not permissible for the men of this ummah to wear silk. نعم. فإن من لبسه في الدنيا لم يلبسه في الآخرة. Because whoever wears it inside of the dunya, he will not wear it in the akhirah. Whoever wears silk in this world, he won't wear it in the next world. Also, from that which is impermissible, from the clothing, لبس ما فيه صورة الحيوان, is to wear that which has on it a picture of a living being. To wear that which has on it a picture of a living being, whether that be an animal, whether that be some fictitious character, na'am, or the like, to wear on it a picture of that which possesses a soul. فإن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, because the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, and this is where we see the seriousness of this nature, or the seriousness of this issue. Because a person, he may say, well, what's the problem with having a shirt and it got a dolphin on it, or something like that? The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم امتنع من دخول بيت عائشة لما علم أن فيه تصاوير. That the Prophet ﷺ, he did not go into the house of Aisha once he became known that it had in it pictures. Once he became known it had in it pictures, he didn't enter into it. فأخبر عليه الصلاة والسلام, and the Prophet ﷺ, he informed أن الملائكة لا تدخل بيتا فيه صورة, that the angels, they do not enter into a house that has in it a picture. Meaning what? A picture of that which possesses a soul. The angels do not enter into the house. And what the ulama, they mention, they say what this means is that the angels of rahmah, the angels of rahmah, the angels of mercy, they don't enter into a house that has in it a picture. But the angel of death, the angels of punishment, now they'll come in there. But the angels of mercy, no, they do not come in a house that has in it a picture. وقد يبلى كثيرا من الناس في هذه الأيام بالملابس التي فيها صور الحيوان لا سيما في ملابس الأطفال. In this time, many of the people have become plagued by this issue of having clothes that have pictures on it, especially children's clothes. Especially children's clothes. وهي رزية عظيمة. And this is a tremendous crisis, a serious crisis. مصيبة كبيرة. This is a tremendous calamity. A tremendous calamity that has repercussions. That has repercussions. Because if you clad your child with the picture of a character, be it SpongeBob or somebody from Fraggle Rock or the Great Space Coaster or whatever, that child may have an affinity to that character. That child may find importance in that character and an attachment to that character. And then we know the like of the messages that come across from these characters. We know the like of the messages of kufr, of shirk, ilhad, and heresy, and atheism that come from these characters. Be they cartoon characters, sports figures, kuffar, whatever. Is that we're acclimating our children to have a respect and to look up to the likes of these individuals, where you can ask a child, who's that? A kid, he'll know SpongeBob, but he don't know Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. A kid, he'll know Teen Titans, but he don't know the Sahaba. He don't know the likes of Khalid bin Walid. He don't know the Sahaba, but he know these things. Wa'iyadu billah. He knows sports figures so-and-so, but he don't know about the Anbiya and the Rusul. You say to him, Musa, Isa, he don't know who they are. But he know who these guys are. وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So we're setting our children up for loss when we clad them in the likes of these things. So it is important, ya ibad, that we remove the likes of these clothing from our houses. That we do not purchase the likes of these clothing for our children. That we do not look at it and say, oh, well, it's just a little kid, so it's okay, they can wear the like of this type of stuff and that. No, this is not the way. The Shaykh, he mentions, he says, أَحَبَّ مِنْكُمْ أَن تَدْخُلَ الْمَلَائِكَ بَيْتًا. He said, does anybody from amongst you love that the angels enter into his house? Does anybody love that the angels of Rahmah enter inside his house? وَأَن تَبْتَعِدْ الشَّيَاطِينَ مِنْ بَيْتِهِ, and that the shayateen stay away from his house? Because the shayateen are not going to come inside the house that the angels are in. The shayateen are going to stay away from that house. But when you put pictures inside of your house, whether those pictures be hung on the wall, whether those pictures be on the clothing or the like, then this will what? This will prevent the angels from entering to your house. So if you don't have the malaika, if you don't have the angels inside of your house, who you think is in there but the shayateen? Who you think is in there but the shayateen? Likewise, from the way of the Salaf, O you who claim to be upon the Sunnah, who claim to be upon the way of the Sahaba, know and understand that being upon the way of the Sahaba is inside of the Aqidah, the belief, the creed is inside of the minhaj, it's inside of the methodology. It means being upon what they were upon as relates to ibadah, as worship. And it means being upon what they were upon as relates to suluk wal akhlaq, mannerisms and characteristics and our manners. Know that the companions, they didn't used to go for the like of this stuff, but rather the rules and regulations that were applicable to the men, they will also implement them upon the children. They will also implement them upon the children. And there's a lot of benefit in doing that as it relates to the rearing and the upbringing of the children, as it rears them to be upon Islam and to love to look like a Muslim, to know what a Muslim look like, and so on and so forth to the end of it. Now, but ala kulli hal, whatever is impermissible for the adults to wear, then it's impermissible for the children to wear. The Sahaba from them, Umar wa ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, if they saw the children wearing something from that had in it gold or silk or something like this, then they used to rip up those articles of clothing so that it couldn't be worn again. They would tear those articles of clothing up so that it couldn't be worn again. Now, this was the way of the Sahaba, how they would treat the small children, the small boys in particular. From that, what also enters into that is the issue of being musbil. Is the issue of being musbil. As you find people, they are lackadaisical as relates to their children. Even though the fathers themselves may have their clothes above their ankles, you will find they're lackadaisical. So you find the children have the clothes under their ankles. You'll find the children running around and they stepping on the back of their pants, and so on and so forth. And then when you ask, but why, ya akhi, you say, oh, it's a kid. No, that which is not permissible for the men is not permissible for the boys. So the way that you clad yourself in Islamic manner, you should clad your children likewise in Islamic manner. And from that is that the men have to have their clothes above their ankles. They have to have their pants above their ankles. Whether that is a pants or whether that is a jalabiyah, whether that is a bisht, whether that is an abaya, na'am, you have to have your clothes above your ankles. Whether that is a trench coat, pea coat, whatever, you gotta have your clothes, oh you men, above your ankles. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا أَسْفَلَ مِنَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ مِنَ الْإِزَارِ فَفِي النَّارِ. Whatever is below the ankles from the izar, then it is inside the fire. مَا تَحْتَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ فَفِي النَّارِ. Whatever is below the ankles for the men is in the fire. Some of the people, they think what this means is that only if it's above your, or only if it is below your ankles, khuyala. Only if it is below the ankles out of arrogance. That if it's out of arrogance, then it's not permissible. But if it's not from that standpoint, then it is permissible. This statement, although it has been said, is a statement that is extremely weak. Is a statement that is da'if, jiddan. It is extremely weak. And it goes against the proofs and the evidences. Because from the proofs and the evidences that the Shaykh he points out is that which comes inside of one hadith. One hadith on the Prophet ﷺ, where he mentions those who wear their clothes, those men who wear their clothes below their ankles. And he also mentioned those men who wear their clothes below their ankles out of pride, out of boastfulness, out of arrogance. And he mentioned that there is a punishment that is particular to each. There is a punishment that is particular to each. And this comes in the statement of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, مَا أَسْفَلَ مِنَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ مِنَ الْإِزَارِ فَفِي النَّارِ. Whatever is below the ankles for the men. Remember, brothers, we're talking to you today for the most part. Whatever is below the ankles for the men from his izar or other than that, then it is inside the fire. This is clothes being worn under the ankles, being musbil. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, is in the fire. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man jarra thawbahu khuyala, or man jarra thawbahu khuyala, lam yanzur illa ilayhi." And whoever wears his clothing below his ankles out of arrogance, Allah will not look at him. Whoever wears his clothes below his ankles out of arrogance, Allah will not look at him. We find that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned about those who wear the arrogance, then Allah won't look at them. And also the general nature of the hadith applies. مَا تَحْتَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ فَفِي النَّارِ. Whatever's below the ankles is in the fire. So for the one who wears it out of arrogance, then for him is that which is below the ankle is in the fire, and Allah will not look at him. So now how insignificant is this? How of a little issue is this? That an individual who comes Yawmul Qiyamah, Allah won't look at you Yawmul Qiyamah. Why? Because of a couple inches of fabric that you couldn't tear yourself away from? Because a couple inches of fabric you were so hooked to? No, now Allah don't look at you Yawmul Qiyamah, and whatever's below the ankles in the fire. That's for the one who does it arrogantly. For the one who says, well, I don't do it arrogantly, but you don't do it arrogantly. But still, the Prophet ﷺ said whatever's below the ankles in the fire. So whatever below the ankle is still inside the fire. Even though he didn't do it arrogantly, it's still inside the fire. So each of them has a punishment that is particular unto themselves. So this statement of the permissibility of wearing that which is below the ankles, if it's not out of pride, this is batil. It goes against the proofs and the evidences. This is erroneous. It goes against the proofs and the evidences. Whether it is below the ankles out of pride and boastfulness, or it is just below the ankles because of whatever reason you want to try to say, فَفِنَّا, then it will be in the fire. And if it's out of arrogance, Allah won't look at you neither. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who take our values, use as our measuring stick of that which is good and that which is not good, that which is acceptable and that which is not acceptable, the book and the sunnah, the way of the salaf of this ummah. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who take the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba as our examples, and we try to imitate them and be like them and look like them as much as possible. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our women those who take the Sahabiyat, and at the head of them our mothers, as their examples, and they strive to dress like them and to be like them, and the like. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those who truly cling to the book and the sunnah in all aspects of their lives. Those who, when they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala, He is pleased with them. Those who, when they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they don't have no hisab, nor any adhab. They have no reckoning, nor do they have any punishment. But those who enter into the Jannah, we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the people of Jannah. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us for our shortcomings. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strengthen us so that we are able to be patient in staying away from the sin. Strengthen us so that we are able to be patient upon the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Strengthen us so that we are able to be patient on the trials and tribulations of life when they come unto us. That's Allah ta'ala an yuwaffiqni wa iyyakum lima yuhibbuhu wa yarda, وأن يجعلنا من الذين يستمعون قولا فيتبعون أحسنا، وأن يجعلنا مباركا حيثما كنا، وأن يجعلنا ممن إذا أعطي شكر وإذا ابتلي صبر وإذا أذنب استغفر، فإن هؤلاء ثلاثة عنوان السعادة. هذا يا عباد فأقيموا الصلاة.